FORA.tv. Idea Immersion. Visit us at www.fora.tv.
My sister came in at 7. Usually I can tell because the cameras start to go off with a sound like a swarm of insects. It was easier this time because she was wearing a white dress. Meghan never wears underwear under her evening wear. I suppose Evan and I are the only ones who know that. The dress she was wearing that night followed the lines of her body perfectly. It looked like a very simple white halter dress until you realized that it was covered with tiny, round, shiny things. Those things, she'd said that morning at breakfast, you know, they're not sequins. Damn, you know. I have no clue. I still had no clue, but they looked wonderful. The dress looked like water, which seemed apt. Meghan has the body of a swimmer, long, strong muscles, broad shoulders, slim hips. Every day after the show, she takes off the makeup, calls me, has a cup of coffee, goes to the gym, and swims for 30 minutes. She says it's the only time she can really be alone. She's much better looking in person, someone behind me said. She has to have had work done, said another. She hasn't. Evan was next to her, his hand at the small of her back. Evan and Meghan met when they were children. He 8, she's 6. We lived in the nicest section of Montrose then, and so did he. They were at a birthday party together. Legend has it that he said she had spots on her face. I have freckles, she said with the dignity she had even as a kid. They look like spots, he replied. She pushed him in the pool. I have heard the story so many times that I can see it all in my mind's eye. Evan is wearing a polo shirt that's buttoned too high on his thin stalk of a neck. Meghan's knees are knobs, her legs skinny, her hem drooping because our mother was so careless with our clothes, insisting they be so expensive that they needed dry cleaning or ironing, then ignoring whether they were cleaned or ironed. He is speaking out of self-protection because she is so sure of herself. She responds out of outrage at being made to look foolish. Of course, I have no way of recalling any of this. I was 2 years old at the time and was probably at home in a playpen, watching the housekeeper wash dishes, which apparently was one of the ways I whiled away my toddler days. I've been told too many times to count that Meghan called Evan stupid head as he flailed in the deep end, and that he was led away, dripping and dazzled. I'm sure Evan had never encountered anyone like Meghan before. Evan's parents are the quietest people on earth. When she's feeling froggy, his mother will say, "Oh, you," to her husband, and he'll squeeze her forearm. That's the equivalent of all hell breaking loose in the greater household. I sat with Evan's mother at their wedding lunch, and I remember how her eyes filled and shone as she watched the two of them move around the dance floor. Evan had taken ballroom dancing lessons as a surprise for Meghan, and he was guiding her firmly through the turns and twirls. He's beside himself, his mother had said. It's a variation of that dance when Evan steers Meghan through crowds like the one at the Waldorf dinner. She never really has to move at all, never has to thread her way like I do through the waiters' trays and the glasses held high and the eyes wandering away to someone more interesting or important. Like a spot in the cosmos, she becomes that area around which all matter begins to circle. Somehow my boss, Allison Baker, the executive director of Women on Women, has wound up at Meghan's side. She leans in to whisper in my sister's ear, and the gracious, slightly frozen smile that Meghan has been wearing and that fits as perfectly as the dress widens into something authentic and wicked. And over the camera, click, click, I hear the guttural and very loud sound that is Meghan's real laugh. Once a men's magazine said it was the sexiest thing about her. The grand ballroom of the Waldorf looks like the throne room of some small, second-rate monarchy, Liechtenstein maybe, or Monaco. The hotel knows its market, and the lighting is soft and pink and designed to shave 10 years off your age. It takes forever to make your way through the tables, which are arranged even more tightly than the guests arrange themselves during the cocktail hour. Ann Jensen was right. The evening's take would be enormous. I looked inside my little calligraphed seating card, but I knew my table number. I was at table 1. Meghan is always at table 1.